Hey everybody, so we're back at it again. Vote reviewing this time a Plat 4 Ana. They were like Plat 4 in Season 1. Now they got soft reset to Silver 1. I consider this Plat 4. From Azura Lapis. Let's check out the first key moment. What can I do more in this situation? Should I use my nano to Reaper or Ryan in that situation? How is my positioning? Okay, a bunch of questions as in how we should approach the team fight. Let's open game. I forgot to change the SR, but I do have 1 minute. Where's the SR? I'm not panicking, you're panicking. I am not panicking, you're panicking. Platform, perfect. Is it centered? Okay, it is kind of centered. Okay, so 9:35 to 10:35. So this is like about a minute. Let's observe. Okay, I like the position. I'm just gonna shut up.
Pushing ahead.
Much better.
Okay, fight is still happening.
Stand up straight.
Big slam.
You're powered up. Get in there.
We're still watching. Ooh, this one's a hard one. I really hope they're not gonna lose this game. Oh, they might actually lose this. Oh my god, they might actually lose this. Are you kidding me? Okay. We will talk about something right after I adjust the timer. Give me 1 second. We'll talk about something called, how should I call it? Incisiveness? As in, you have to take a bite out of the enemies, dude. You have to take a bite out of the enemies. This is a prime example of what is happening right now, not necessarily in your rating, but in every rating in the game. Because of how much HP and how changed the tank role is, a lot of people are thinking, holy shit, what is happening here? A merger. Venom. Okay, a lot of people are relaxing when the fights are won. But they forget how hard it is to kill the tank. And also, because of the lack of stuns in the game, because they removed a bunch of CC from a lot of characters, it is very hard to pinpoint down the squishies and actually kill them. So dodging is super important. Why I'm doing this intro is because this fight should have been won with how it all went. Now, let's go with your positioning first of all. Playing from here, good position, you're safe, you should be fine. Now, I know that you're saving your abilities, maybe for Sombra going after you, which she will come after you. But there's one very important thing. If you play in cover, try not to invest both of your abilities in the dual fight. So let's see what happens. This is good. This is good so far. Still good. You get hacked. Forces Transcendence. And now, that should be it. So, hear me out. So here's what's happening. So let's go in slow motion. So, you get hacked. You dodge, you hear Transcendence, you go for a sleep dart. This is okay, it misses, whatever. And now there is no reason for you to peek. There is no reason for you to peek and look for a nade onto the Sombra. So, you're in Plat right now. What you should do in situations like these is, yes, you start by playing in cover, but use the walls as cover. You're completing the most important step, which is, I need to find shelter. You're literally watching a survival show. You need to find shelter, and you have found shelter. But now you have to use the shelter, because what use is it to find the shelter and then sleep outside in the rain? Same principle. Yes, you're playing around walls, and you're isolating angles from left and right side, but they can shoot you from front. So you play from here, you go for the sleep dart, you hear Transcendence being thrown, no reason for you to fight the Sombra in the open while you're hacked because you take increased damage. You can just get here in this corner instantly, instead of juggle picking this and taking extra damage, bait her in. Because Sombra's option is to chase you all the way. And what would happen, let's see what would happen if you would have done this small thing, then this is why I insist on it, is the following. So,
2-minute warning.
She goes for you. You go for the sleep dart. No reason to peek. You're afraid that Zenyatta was low. I think that's why you peeked. But now, run to the right side. You throw the nade. You run to the right side when you're going to be a little bit lower. And then you can just go and grab the health pack inside. Meanwhile, your team Ashe is not turning around to help you. She turned around to do one shot. Zenyatta doesn't turn around to help you either. And they can just focus on point and kill literally the Kiriko and Lucio on point and Sojourn instead of everybody like trying to turn around to save you. Because imagine right now Zenyatta in front discording the Sojourn when Reinhardt was doing stuff there, or discording the Lucio. So you asked for resources. I feel like one of the things that people are not discussing that much about the support role, that is, and a lot of people are talking about the support role as a healer role, which triggers me. But one of the things that you can do is the following. I was about to say Olaf. Overwatch revolves around a lot around resources. And I feel like every game revolves around resources, no matter what game you play, okay? And as a support, you're supposed to pump in resources into your teammates. And one of the best ways to support your team is to ask for less resources. This is why playing from cover and baiting the enemies in and taking duels and playing close to health packs is so important, and is one of the very small subtleties that you see in top players that they do in ranked, that is, to get value, right? Because their team can be like, okay, Ana's okay, so we're just gonna focus in front. Imagine Zenyatta being here on point, killing the Lucio even faster, maybe headshotting the Kiriko, maybe it would have been over. But kiting in the back to help you because you peeked just a little bit too much and then bait the Sombra in and then go for the health pack and stuff, that's what might have resulted in you, in your team losing the team fight. So ask for a tiny bit of resources. Secondly, I recommend saving your nade as much as you possibly can. You had a good intention there. You were afraid that you were gonna be low. That was okay. But maybe wait a little bit longer next time. Now you have to reload. Now EMP comes in. That happens. Okay, that happens. Someone dies.
You're powered up. Get in there.
And now I want to talk about two things over here. First off, about nano usage. Actually, no. First off, about positioning. Secondly, about nano usage. The fact that after Zenyatta dies, you move from your position to get a proper sight line and get invested in a team fight where initially you had a numerical advantage because Sojourn was coming out of spawn is good. This is what I've talked in one of my past VOD reviews, in which I said that when your team is up one, you have to pressure the advantage. And in this case, you are pressuring the advantage. There is one small problem with this. When you're pressuring the advantage as a support that lacks mobility, right? And you know that you might not get a lot of help from your teammates because they focused on the front line. You putting yourself in a position where you're in range of the enemies will stress your teammates even more and yourself. You can solve this issue by just playing, in this case, for example, right to this red car. Yes, they can shoot you, but if they want to go for you, they have to invest a lot of resources to get to you. If you stay here, Zarya's in zap range, Lucio can commit to you instantly, Kiriko has an easier job of getting headshots. Good. Your intention was good, but try when you push just enough to not get in range. You know what I mean? Like, imagine, view like this. The enemies are effective in this range, and I will try to get as close as I possibly can while barely touching the circle. So that in case they want to go for me, they need to make an effort to go for me. But I still have to be in range. Because if I'm here and I don't have proper sight lines, it's like I'm out of the fight and they will ignore me. But if I'm somewhere over here at this car or over here, or even here to be honest, right? Because you have this as cover. Even though they're in range, you have this as cover and you have this as cover. And you actually like baiting them in for you, right? Because the problem with playing from here is also the fact that Sojourn can see you. Then this will require them to invest a lot of resources into you, right? So that's a small positioning thing. I like the intention though. Decision making is really good. I gotta say this. And now you're in a weird spot in which instead of like staying scoped in, maybe nading the Sojourn to the side, maybe healing up the Ashe, you have to reposition yourself. Like right here in the middle, This is a good intention, but look, right now you have zero cover in the middle of the team fight. And this results in you going like, I'm in the open. You go for a quick scope, you miss it because of the stress of repositioning. She dies, boom, the fight is over. And right now you're stressed because Sojin shoots you. I don't care about the sleep dart. You know, like, these are like small mechanical things that happen. Small mechanical things that happen. But see, like, you have to make this walk from here to here. Now, imagine even playing from here or playing from over here from the car and just healing up the Ashe. Should have not died. Maybe she could have killed the Sojourn. Maybe the fight would have been over. And now, another very important thing that I have to learn a lot is the following. In case you have nano and your tank is alive and enemies are in range, the tank role, as of now, December 2022, is absolutely broken. If you don't have a Genji that you can nano for Nano Blade, if you don't have a Reaper that TPs into 5 people to use Blossom, to use Nano Blossom on, if you don't have a Pharah with Barrage to use Nano on, if your DPS doesn't have their ultimate, I would 99% of the times nano my tank. And I'm still doing this mistake today. I am nanoing a Sojourn instead of nanoing a Reinhardt or like a Norisa that is like in range of them. They do so much damage and they're so tanky. In this case, I would definitely nano the Reinhardt. She would absolutely be having an easier job to kill the Zarya. Because here's one big issue with DPSs. So he had to use Rate. He had to use Rate and then you nano him. And then he has to go aggressive.
Get in there.
So right now, he has to exit Rate earlier instead of getting close to the range. So he can do like more damage. But see, he has to aim, he has to reload. He's getting focused, he's low HP. Now imagine Reinhardt nanoed here just having to swing the hammer everywhere. You're afraid of Lucio maybe speed boosting them a little bit back? No problem. Reinhardt can always do like a short pen to reposition himself. And also, in case like they kite back, you're still gonna push the robot a little bit more. So again, we're gonna talk about 3 major things that happened here. First off, you have so far from this team fight almost impeccable decision making. Like, you're very decisive. I like what you're doing. I like how you're playing in cover. But good decision making, but use the resources adequately. By putting yourself in positions that give you an advantage, do not ask for resources from your teammates. That is one of the things that supports can do the best to help their team. It's one of the reasons why a lot of really good Mercy players climb like so high SR when they don't, when Mercy doesn't work in comp. It is because they don't ask for resources from their team. They're really good at surviving themselves. Over here, this is a very specific case. When Sobra came for you, Zenera could have focused in front. And also, with repositioning as a tangent to the second point, yes, you went aggressive, still good decision making, but because you went over here like really close, you were exposed on the right side. So yes, you close angles, but also keep respawns in mind. Maybe play from here, maybe play from here, maybe even play from here with a bit of cover. And lastly, about nano usage, I would say if your team doesn't have ultimates, most of the times, just nano your tank. If they're in range, that is. Okay, 716 to 811. This one's a little bit uglier. I chose my initial position, so I'm not easily flanked, but was I trying to be too safe? I'm still confused on when is my position too safe or not. Also on 558, should I not try to DPS and pocket my Ryan instead? I was so shocked he died even though he still had like 40% HP left. Okay, 716 for about a minute. Wait, not Olaf, review Teaching Tuesday. 716 for about a minute. Let's watch this. Okay, gets the pin. Okay, nade. Well, that's what happens when Hook gets a hook. Yeah, just Hook things. No armor on a Reinhardt, then he's just gonna die. Now 2v2. Oh, you can win this if you sleep die the Hook. You should be able to win this.
The enemy draws near.
Okay, missing sleep a little bit. Ryan's back. Nade him. Okay, here's one very important tip playing against the Sombra. If there's a squishy that's getting hacked, I would do unscope shot, which might land or might not land, and a nade instantly because the hacked target receives increased damage from Sombra. And maybe she lands a bunch of headshots. And Zenyatta takes a bunch of damage. So over here, Olaf said hello, by the way. I would do unscope shot the second I hear the hack, and then I would just splash my nade onto the Zenyatta instead of scoping in or doing unscope shots. Over here, same thing. When you see a Roadhog in front of you, always assume that he's gonna do a bunch of damage. Hopefully this will change soon, but always assume that Roadhog will do a bunch of damage. Always. Like, if your tank gets hooked, that's half HP, half of their HP gone. But let's talk about something, because these are like some pretty small mechanical errors that I'm seeing that got you into this position. So, let's see the following. Whenever you're playing Ana, always think about how much you can do to the enemies. This is what you should always think with every support that is. But Ana's nade is a little bit special, because it's one of those abilities that the enemies can play around pretty easily depending on their team comp. So for example, if they would have a shield or a way to deny, any other way to deny your nade, like Diva's defense matrix or Orisa's helicopter spin or Tracer's recall, Reaper gate for him and stuff, then that changes how you use the nade. But in this particular case, when you have a Reinhardt there, going for the sleep dart was the right choice. You're missing it, it's okay. You had to sleep dart the Sombra. What happens here is the following. You have two targets that cannot deny the nade. Maybe Kiriko can cleanse it, but you force an ability for an ability and it can work, and they will cleanse the nade, the anti-nade effect, on their teammates. They will not cleanse the benefit of the nade on your ally. So if I'd be you, in this case, when I see two enemies walking to my Reinhardt, all I can see is a 3-man nade. That's all I can see. So I'm gonna try my best to place the nade in the center of everybody. What can I do is at any second I can throw the nade over here. Even if you have like, you can land it on 3. If you landed on 2, you did your job. That's it. But obviously I would prioritize landing it on my Reinhardt first. So right now, you throw it in, Reinhardt backs out, Hog is there, and that's it. Because even if you land, here's why I prioritize landing the nade on my Reinhardt and not on the enemies. Because if I throw the nade on Symmetra and Roadhog, Reinhardt might get the kill, but mostly will not, right? Because Symmetra will just run away, he has to be in range, and Hog, you'll barely tickle him because you threw the nade. This nade is more about a damage nade. What I would do is try to throw it on Reinhardt to encourage him to keep on swinging. Imagine if Reinhardt would see the nade effect here and he would start doing damage. Him backing out is not on you. Him backing out is on him. But this entire team fight, when Sombra is dead, yes, you have to pressure your advantage. There is no reason for you to maintain this high ground here. Who's gonna shoot you? You see Hog here, you see Symmetra here. I bet that you heard Keiko heals here. You just don't know where Baptiste is and Sombra's dead. You're playing in a safe position instead of pressuring. Because right now, if you drop a little bit in the back, right? If you drop, you might force Roadhog to go for a hook for you. I wouldn't necessarily like drop right now. I would just like play with the idea of dropping a little bit later, if that makes sense. So let's say
I have you. Keep fighting.
you heal up the Reinhardt. You wait for the hook because Roadhog's close. Maybe this is why you don't want to drop. Still heal up the Reinhardt. Now it's clear that I want to go for him. And now is probably when I would drop. Because what happens is if I drop now, then and throw the nade now, I will land a 3-man nade, and if Roadhog gets a hook or wants to hook me, he has to hook me through the Reinhardt instead of like staying in a safe spot. So it's like I'm putting myself in a juicy position just outside of their range, and this is what you have to do with support. You have to be in a juicy range. So over here, imagine the same area that I described in the first key moment that you showed me. So over here, Roadhog's hook range, let's say this is Roadhog. Let's say it's this big, right? Now, if you drop, you're just outside of it. He might actually go for a hook on you and miss it. You might actually even encourage him to miss the hook on Reinhardt. And if he hooks the Reinhardt, then you can just splash the nade in the wall, on the ground, on your Reinhardt, instead of like just staying safe on top. Always think when you're throwing nades, what are you trying to achieve? If you throw the nade just to do damage to them, then who's gonna do damage? I mean, understand throwing the nade onto a squishy when there's a tracer nearby because she can follow up. But when there's a full HP Roadhog that you're nading and a Reinhardt from your side that's full HP, what will the nade do to the enemy other than just scratch them? Your goal is to play with the anti-nade effect, not to do that much damage. This would have been a one-team fight. So again, let's go step by step. Good position at the beginning. Good sleep dart usage. She's dead. Pressure the advantage. Pressure the advantage. Start thinking. You don't need to force with your nade yet. You have to wait a little bit until you get a good opportunity because the team fight is won, okay? You're +1. You're 5 versus 4. The team fight is won. You don't have to force things. If your Zenyatta would have died and Sombra was alive and you're 4 versus 5, then look for an early nade to take control of the team fight, to swap the tempo of the team fight. But in this case, when you already have the advantage, there is no reason for you to look for an aggressive nade. You have to wait a little bit until the opportunity arises, and you shouldn't be the one that
keep fighting.
Pressures that much. You probably got scared because Roadhog was coming for you. You wait until you hear the hook. Now when you see that hook's going there and you're here, you drop, you throw the nade on Reinhardt, boom, that's it. Fight would have been won. So don't feel the need to pressure when you're in the advantage. Now you back out. Good heal there. Roadhog walking in, trying to go with a sleep dart, it misses. We don't talk about this that much right now, about these mechanical errors. Now when somebody's hacked, you go for the nade instantly. In this case, Zen was in the open. It happens. Not your fault. Nade splashes on him. Nope, that's it. That's it. 1 or 2 shots, that's the most you can do. You did 3 shots. 1 or 2 shots, and then you should swap to healing.
We're outnumbered. Be careful.
You win the team fight, I think. For example, here, continuing, I don't know if you want to talk about this as well, but over here, if you're 2 versus 1, which you are, from what I remember, you only got hogs here. Yes, you're 2 versus 1, they're going to be back soon. You can just, if your abilities are up, try to save the nano. If your abilities are not up and you're afraid you're going to lose, then use the nano.
Happy to assist.
And you won the team fight.
Escorting the rope.
Okay, I think you were saying something else here as well. Okay. Here's a quick tip, by the way. When you're playing against the Roadhog and you have a tank, if they're full HP at the beginning, like literally full HP, they will take about half HP of their damage if they get hooked. Enemies will shoot them, apart from Roadhog. But if they're like 3/4 of HP or half HP, you have to invest almost every single resource in them. They will probably die. Because the armor that blocks a little bit of the damage is stripped off them. I believe one of the things I need to improve on is ult tracking and saving your sleep dart for it. And probably your positioning isn't optimal. You'd love for some feedback on your gameplay, and I might find something I've never even thought about. Okay, I think we have time to give you maybe one more fight. One more fast fight. I want to go in the beginning to see, because I feel like with Ana, the first team fight is the most important one. I don't like quick thing over here on this map. I feel like it is very important to start from this area because you have easy nades to splash over here. You have sightlines to the left side. You have sightlines here. If they have a sniper, you can just break these railings and play from here, and this is enough cover. If they want to go for you, then they have to walk all the way to get to you. Playing from here means that they can shoot you from there. It's hard to land nades, and they can see you from there as well. Good aggressive nade. You reposition yourself, maybe behind. Oh my lord! Good sleep dart. Can't do anything. And now, same thing. You're in the open. Find cover. You know, always find cover. See what happens again this team fight with focusing. May sleeping, you can't do anything to her. That was on Zenyatta.
fighting.
And now, look. We have like 1 minute remaining. What do you want to achieve when you're throwing this nade in front? Like, what are you trying to achieve? Because you have a Widowmaker to the left side. You have a Zenyatta spamming randomly. You're throwing the nade here, and then you're not going to focus on damage. You're going to focus on... you're going to focus on hitting D.Va. What D.Va has to do is to commit in the backline to do a bunch of damage. Right?
That must
And you
sting.
put yourself in a bad position as well afterwards. Mei flanking here was unexpected. So even if you land the nade, they can just like back out. And you're not benefiting from the effect of the nade. It's a damaged nade, not an anti-nade. So in this case, I would say against Baptiste Lucio, right, with Junker Queen, if you would have splashed the nade on your D.Va and on the Junker Queen, the fight would have been over. You'd have gotten the lamp out, you'd have been in a safe spot from Mei, everything would have been good. Mei could have walled you here, but maybe Widow could have killed her. There are like a lot of ifs and buts here. You could have destroyed the wall with Zenyatta, but again, look for a nade that benefits both your teammate and being able to like do damage to the enemy as well, so your team can play with it. Because if you nade the backline and you have Tracer Genji on the left side, or a Sombra or somebody, then okay, perfect. But when your Tracer is going all the way here in Narnia, and you can see your teammate through walls, then there's no reason for you to throw the nade. If you want to save the nade because you do it with Tracer, and you see the Tracer lurking over here, then yes, go for a nade on the backline so she can follow up. But if you throw a nade just for the sake of seeing enemies being hand-tied, then maybe it's better to hold onto it for a better opportunity so your team can capitalize on the anti-nade effect. This being said, it is time for Olaf review. It's time for Olaf review. So let's go a little bit in the data tab. I would say that your aim, you need a bit of aim training. And with aim, I include over here also nade training, sleep dart training. I have a bunch of workshop codes on my stream. !code 2 can help you out, I think is the command for some workshop modes that I currently use for Kiriko, but you can also use for Gana. Positioning wise, your positioning is good. I feel like you should just move out of your positions a little bit faster. Cooldown management is okay-ish. I'm gonna put it on 20. And no. You know what? I'm gonna go with decision making as the highest one. So all of these are kind of like equal with how much it's gonna impact you. So you're like 60 and this is like 40. What I mean by this is you are decisive, right? You're decisive with what you want to do. But you have to pick the right things now. So you're doing the right things, you're doing mistakes, and you're doing them fast. Now try to do them even more and even faster, if that makes any sense. So let's go and Olaf recommends you do the following. First things first. You're positioning really good in team fights, but better ability management. Try to get more out of your anti-nades. Okay, this means think who can capitalize on your nades, right? If you throw a big nade in the backline and nobody's gonna do damage to them, then there is no reason for you to throw that nade, other than maybe scare them off. It is better to just splash the nade on your teammate and on the enemy that's in front of your teammate, rather than just going for a big juicy 3-man nade and nobody can follow up on that. Okay, don't force things when you have the advantage. This means that, yes, you gotta pick. You're +1. Your goal is not the one supposed to force things. Your abilities as a support and your life are the two most important things to use in order to win games as a support. So the more you can hold on living and on using your abilities, the more advantage you're going to have. The enemies have to create the pressure, okay? The enemies have to create the pressure. So when they're down 1. Otherwise, they're just going to lose the fight because of the numerical advantage. So wait for them to make a mistake and then activate yourself. Thirdly, play in juicy range. This is what I've always described when playing against Winston Dive. If you're playing with Ana, for example, juicy range is that area that I was talking about where the enemies know that you're kind of close, but they can't quite get to you. For example, if Winston jumps and he is in melee range to you, then that is not juicy range. But if he jumps you and he can barely zap you, then that is juicy range. Because if you start running the second he jumps, then you will be outside of his range. Does that make sense? It's same for Roadhog Hook. It might land its maximum range, but play with their corazon, dude, a bit. Play with their hearts a bit. They might see the opportunity to kill you, because if you play too safe, then they're just going to ignore you, and you're going to be placed in odd positions as well. And fourthly, I would say about your positioning, you have great initial positioning, but think about your positioning mid-fight. A lot of the times I feel like you're caught in the open in the middle of the fight. Like, yes, you start in point A, the team fight, but then think where you're gonna go next. Or if you don't want to think where you're gonna go next, hug a wall, hug the high ground, play close to a health pack. I hope you found this video to give you useful. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe, and congratulations on your climb, because I hope that you climb from this. I hope that you climb from this to give you. Hey, I'm Olaf. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to subscribe. Meow.